My husband had this weird thing. Every time he took a new concubine, he'd give me a pearl. The more he liked her, the better the pearl. Over the years, my jewelry box got packed with pearls. Big ones, small ones, all kinds. Until today, when he personally brought me a pink South Sea pearl. Smooth, glowing, flawless. My lady, this pearl is one of a kind. Worthy of you and worthy of her. There was this rare softness in his eyes. I smiled and took it. But my fingertips went cold. That same afternoon, a pink sedan chair was carried through the front gate, and inside sat the pearl diver. From that night on, she slept in his quarters every single night. Everyone was watching, waiting for me, his wife, to break down, to be humiliated, to be thrown out. But I just quietly shut my jewelry box, because I'd finally been waiting for this moment. See, I don't belong in this world. 7 years ago, I killed someone and got thrown into this strange era. My original fate? I was supposed to be a noble lady from a wealthy family. But after the family fell apart, I got sent to the pleasure quarters, where I suffered every kind of humiliation. And eventually, I'd be sent to the military camp to be violated and killed. But Gu Yanqin changed everything. He bought me out of that place. And married me, against everyone's wishes. Back then, he was the biggest playboy in town. But he felt genuinely hard for me. He walked away from his family's business for me, brought me to Jinling and lived the quiet life of a small merchant. That first year of marriage, he treated me like I was his whole world. Traveled everywhere hunting for rare treasures, just to see me smile. Every woman in Jinling envied me. They said I married a man who was crazy in love. Life felt like a dream. I actually started thinking, maybe I could stay in this world. Maybe we'd grow old together. But a playboy is always a playboy. He could hold himself together for a year, not a lifetime. My husband started taking concubines. First was Jiang Ruoxue, the legitimate daughter of a minister's household. She walked in like she owned the place, using her background to challenge me at every turn. She even tried to take Lingbo Courtyard for herself. I refused flat out. In a fit of rage, she smashed the vases in the courtyard, vases that Gu Yanqin and I had picked out together. Every single one held a memory. That day, he stood before me with a stone-cold expression. I've spoiled you too much. You think you're still some high and mighty noble lady? Without me, you're nothing. Then he slapped me, hard enough to knock me to the floor. My cheek was burning. Didn't you say I was the only one? Turns out you're just another greedy man. He froze. For a second, I saw guilt flash across his eyes. But anger took over fast. Wake up. Everything I've given you, the wealth, the status, you could never have earned that on your own. But that same night, he sat on the edge of my bed, gently tracing the mark on my cheek. Does it still hurt? That was wrong of me. The next morning, cart after cart of jewelry arrived at my courtyard, like a mountain of gold. Qinger wiped her tears and said, "The master still loves you, my lady. That new girl Jiang Ruoxue got nothing." But I knew. That slap had woken me up completely. This wasn't my home. I had to go back. From that day on, I played the role of the perfect wife he wanted. Welcomed concubine after concubine. 7 years, and it became a routine. He gives me a pearl. Another woman moves into the back courtyard. The better the pearl, the more she means to him. My jewelry box couldn't hold them all anymore. The extras got boxed up and shoved into storage. But no matter how many concubines he took, he always said the same thing. No one could replace me as his wife. The noble women of Jinling praised my patience, called me the backbone of the Gu household, the most virtuous wife around. I smiled on the outside. But inside, it felt like needles, and until I couldn't feel anything at all. One time, Lin Ruolin asked me in front of everyone, "Sister Qingwan, does it really not bother you that the master keeps taking concubines?" I smiled and handed her a plain pearl. "Do you like this, little sister?" "It's yours." Lin Ruolin froze, took the pearl, and gave an awkward smile. Nobody said another word. After that day, my maid Qinger quietly told me the servants had started a bet. Guessing when I'd get divorced, I just smiled. Let them guess. Gu Yanqin's wife, his only wife, would always be me. But that night, I sat alone in the courtyard staring up at the stars, and I felt completely hollow inside. The next day, Gu Yanqin came back from Donghai with Su Lianyi. He was holding the pink pearl. "Qingwan, this is the finest pearl from Donghai this year. Lianyi dove for it herself. Don't waste it." I stared at the pearl, that soft pink glow, like it was hiding something. I couldn't look away. "You have great taste, my husband." Then I turned to Qinger. "Go get Lingbo Courtyard ready for Sister Su." Lingbo Courtyard was the finest in the estate. He designed it himself, for me. We'd just gotten married back then. He said he wanted to give me the best, wanted me to live like a princess. But as things cooled between us, the courtyard sat empty. No one had lived there since. Qinger dragged her feet going to clean it, but I caught Gu Yanqin looking at me with approval. The next morning, Su Lianyi came to pay her respects. "Good morning, sister." Her head was down, voice barely above a whisper, shy as could be. Then her hand slipped and hot tea spilled all over me, scalding my leg. "Sister, I didn't mean to." She panicked, eyes going red like a startled deer. Gu Yanqin rushed over and steadied her. "Don't worry, it's okay." He didn't look at me once, like he'd completely forgotten my leg was still burning. My pain tolerance is 10 times lower than most people's. Years ago, I stepped in front of a sword to protect him, and nearly passed out from the pain. Now he won't even look at me. Every bit of his warmth goes straight to Su Lianyi. I swallowed the pain and forced a smile. "It's fine, she just slipped." "I'll go change." But Su Lianyi's eyes flashed with something sharp, like she was testing just how much I'd take. I looked at her and let the corner of my mouth curl. "A Zhao Ran, you finally showed up." Jiang Ruoxue finally snapped and stormed over. "Aren't you scared he's gonna forget you exist?" I set down the book and said, calm as ever. "What's wrong with one more sister? It's just an extra pair of chopsticks, and if you want, I'd be happy to throw you a wedding too. Hot and lively. You're from a noble house, Dai, and right now you're worth less than a chicken." I didn't even bother. I just stared at a line in the book. When a Zhao Ren falls in love, they form a pink pearl, one that can reverse time itself. I sold every pearl Gu Yanshin had ever given me, turned them into silver, and threw him and Sulianyi the grandest wedding I could. Wedding day. I ran around hosting guests, smiling like I was in full bloom, cold as ice inside. Zhang Ruoxiu stood off to the side, face dark as a burnt pot, muttering about Sulianyi's background. That night I sat alone in the courtyard, playing the Qin, the song Gu Yanshin had written for me years ago. Luan and Phoenix in harmony. Word was he didn't go to Sulianyi's room that night. He slept in the study. Sulianyi smashed half the courtyard in a rage, cried like a broken child, and lost every bit of her wedding night glory. But me? I sat out all night in the cold and fell sick, flat on my back, coughing non-stop. Gu Yanshin came in with a bowl of medicine, fed it to me himself, face unreadable. You're too good, way too good. Isn't that exactly what you wanted? He didn't answer, just sighed, like he had something to say, then swallowed it back down. After that, Gu Yanshin started pulling away from Sulianyi. The servants started talking behind her back, about where she came from. A pig butcher's daughter cozying up to the master, please. Right? Burning the mistress with hot water? That's just low. Sulianyi snapped, smashed an entire set of porcelain, stormed out red-eyed, swearing she'd go drag Gu Yanshin back. And somehow, she actually pulled it off. She reeled him right back in. He stayed in her quarters every single night for 2 whole months. Gu Yanshin was like a man under a spell, circling Sulianyi, spoiling her with zero limits. She wanted seafood? He sent people to the coast for the freshest catch, packed it in ice, and had it delivered straight to her. She didn't like the other concubines? He kicked out most of them, kept just a few. Zhang Ruoxue came charging over. Are you seriously just gonna sit there tonight? If this keeps up, we're both getting pushed out. And then what? There's just one more person in the back courtyard. Zhang Ruoxiu spun around in disgust. Fine. Wait to get thrown out then. I looked back down at the book. It read, the Jiao Ran is a master of enchantment. To undo it, set her heart ablaze, and her mind will crumble. I knew it clear as day. Sulianyi was the Jiao Ran I'd been looking for. Zhang Ruoxiu couldn't take it anymore, and threw one last line over her shoulder. You want the fish's heart, don't you? I'll help you. My head snapped up. How do you know about that? She just laughed coldly, gave no answer, and walked out, leaving my heart pounding. 2 months later, Gu Yanshin took Sulianyi to the Eastern Sea to harvest pearls, and they found a blood-red pearl, the kind that only shows up once in a century. The moment it surfaced, people fought over it from every side. Gu Yanshin ended up sending it straight to the palace. The emperor was thrilled. He declared Sulianyi a bearer of good fortune and issued an edict making her an equal wife, same rank as me. Zhang Ruoxiu's eyes went red. She's just a Jiao Ran. Later, Zhang Ruoxiu quietly pulled me aside. She was from the future too. Said she just wanted to help me get the Jiao Ran's heart faster. I didn't ask questions. I just felt like this whole world was a cage, and we were all just prisoners in it. The day Gu Yanshin came back, I stood at the gate waiting, spotted him from a distance, glowing, practically radiant. His face looked younger than before, to sound like he'd been drinking some kind of elixir, eyes full of warmth and laughter. I couldn't help but think, the blood of a Jiao Ran really can turn back the clock. Why'd you come out to meet me yourself tonight? It's cold, don't catch a chill. When the edict came, we already cleared out the main courtyard, sent for Sister Lianyi to move in. Sister, don't say that, I would never dare take your courtyard. Gu Yanshin's face darkened, the warmth drained out. Since you're so gracious, then move to Qingfeng Pavilion. Qingfeng Pavilion was the most remote corner of the estate. Moving there meant being cast into the cold. I agreed quietly, calm on the outside. But inside, I was already counting down the final move. After moving to Qingfeng Pavilion, I started sharpening a blade every single night. The edge caught the candlelight, cold and sharp. My lady, what are you doing with that? You're freaking me out. Nothing, just learning how to gut fish. I had Chinger bring Gu Yanshin a bowl of pear soup, something I used to make him all the time years ago. Kinger came back beaming. The master drank it all. He said for Lady Su to move out, and for you to come back to the main courtyard. That bowl of pear soup was my olive branch. Gu Yanshin had a weak constitution when he was young, coughed every winter. I dug through old texts, learned the recipe, and made it for him every single day back then. Once the Jiao Ran moved in, I stopped. He asked me a few times. I ignored him every time. Now I brewed it again, to remind him of who I used to be. My relationship with Gu Yanshin suddenly snapped back to the early days, right after we first got together. He took me to the city market, bought me a whole cart of rouge and powder. I watched the streets, the flowers, the crowds, and felt absolutely nothing inside. Just a spectator. At Suyu House, we listened to a storyteller spin a tale. It was about a third prince and a woman, all love and bitterness. She loved him, but when he took a concubine, things fell apart. She put one final arrow through him. The crowd went wild. Some called her ungrateful. Others said she'd never dare kill a prince. But Gu Yanshin was completely hooked. He suddenly turned to me. Tonight, if you were her, what would you do? If I were Madame Shen, I'd help my husband bring his love home, obviously. What's wrong with a few more sisters? He stared at me for a long moment, then burst out laughing. Laughed so hard the tears ran down his face. I wish you could keep fooling me forever. I froze. The teacup almost slipped right out of my hands. That night, I lay in my bed at Qingfeng Pavilion, replaying his words over and over. What was he even trying to say? I gripped the edge of my blanket, palms sweating. Next morning, Chinger brought me a bowl of hot porridge. My lady, rough night again, wasn't it? I forced a smile, but had zero appetite. My chest just felt heavy. I pulled Chinger aside and quietly asked what Yuan Yi had been up to lately. He's been holed up in Lingbo Courtyard. Word is he hired some Taoist priest, burning incense and drawing talismans every single day. My heart skipped. A Taoist priest? Was he after the secret of the merman's heart too? I rushed to flip open the records of strange tales and studied the passage about the blood pearl. The book said, when a merman falls deeply in love under a full moon, a special ritual can draw out the blood of their heart and forge it into a blood pearl. This pearl could not only reverse time itself, but also grant immortality. No wonder even the emperor treasured Sulianyi's pearl so much. I took a deep breath and decided to go confront Sulianyi myself. That evening I used dropping off snacks as an excuse, and headed to Lingbo Courtyard with Chinger. The moment Sulianyi saw me, a flash of surprise crossed her face. Sister, what brings you here? Just checking in, sis. Made some pastries. Wanted you to try them. She looked guarded, then probed. You're being awfully nice. What's this really about? I played dumb, made some small talk, then casually brought up the blood-red pearl. Heard you got into the palace thanks to that pearl. Lucky you. Got any more like it? Sulianyi's expression shifted slightly. She brushed it off. Sister's joking. That was just luck. Nothing more. I didn't push further. Said my goodbyes and left, but I was more convinced than ever. She knew something. The next day, I went to the market to find the old herbalist and bought some rare herbs to prepare for the full moon ritual. The herbalist was an old man with a white beard. He stared at me for a long moment, then said quietly, Miss, what you're looking for ain't your average stuff. My heart jumped. I played dumb. What do you mean, old man? I'm just buying some herbs, that's all. The fish from the South Sea aren't something you want to mess with. Careful you don't get yourself dragged in. I didn't say another word. Paid up and hurried back, but my chest felt like it was weighed down by a stone. A few days later, Gu Yanchen took me to a plum blossom grove outside the city to clear my head. He snapped off a branch and tucked it in my hair, and smiled. You're still as beautiful as ever. Looking at his smile, I suddenly thought back to 7 years ago. The lantern he bought me at the Lantern Festival. Back then, he promised to protect me forever, to never let me suffer. Now he was looking at another woman with those same eyes. I looked down, hiding the coldness in mine. Husband, it's getting late, let's head back. On the way home, I casually brought up Sulianyi. How's she been doing lately? Gu Yanchen paused and his eyes flickered. She's fine, don't worry about it. I smiled and let it go, but deep down I kept thinking, when a merman loves deeply, the blood pearl forms. I was running out of time. In the days that followed, Sulianyi standing in the household kept climbing. Zhang Ruoxue came rushing to find me. Aren't you gonna do something? She is completely out of control. I kept sorting my herbs, calm as ever. She can't take over. My husband's heart is still with me. Still playing innocent? Don't you want that pearl? I already dug everything up for you. She told me Sulianyi had been sneaking up to a small temple in the back hills every night to meet a Taoist named Xuan Yun, asking him to help her hold onto Gu Yanchen's affection. My eyes lit up. Sulianyi was definitely gearing up for the blood pearl. I had to go to that temple and see for myself. That night, I snuck up to the back hill temple with Chinger. The temple was dimly lit. Sulianyi and Taoist Xuan Yun were standing before a strange ritual formation, talking in hushed voices. To forge the blood pearl, you must willingly offer your heart's blood. But if it fails, I'll die. You're of merman bloodline. What's there to fear? If it works, you'll live forever. My heart was pounding. Merman bloodline. Sulianyi really was the one I'd been looking for. On the night of the full moon, Gu Yanchen must be present. His love for you will awaken your bloodline. Only then can the blood pearl be forged. Otherwise, it's all for nothing. Gu Yanchen. He'd been pulled into this ritual too? I slipped back to the estate, my mind racing. Sulianyi was planning to use Gu Yanchen to forge the pearl. That only made me more determined. I had to get there first and claim the merman's heart myself. The night of the full moon finally came. Silver moonlight flooded the entire city. I had already set up the ritual formation in the courtyard of Qingfeng Pavilion. Chinger stood to the side, face completely drained of color. My lady, is this actually gonna work? This is terrifying. Don't be scared. Stick to the plan and I'll finally make it home. I sent Chinger to fetch Gu Yanchen, lying that I was gravely ill and wanted to see him one last time. He actually showed up. One look at my pale face and his brow furrowed. What's wrong with you tonight? I slumped weakly against the headboard, barely keeping up the act.
Husband, I just want you to feed me my medicine one more time.
He picked up the medicine bowl right away and fed me spoon by spoon, eyes full of worry. I took the chance to grab his hand and whispered, Do you still remember the Lantern Festival 7 years ago? His eyes trembled slightly like something had struck a nerve. Of course I do. That was you at your most beautiful. I smiled, and while he wasn't looking, I slipped a small packet of powder into his teacup. It was a sedative the herbalist gave me. Knock him out briefly, but wouldn't hurt him. After Gu Yanchen drank the tea, his eyes slowly glazed over. I got up right away and dragged him to the center of the ritual formation. And that's when Sulianyi suddenly burst in. Right then, Sulianyi suddenly burst in, blade in hand. You dare steal my blood pearl! He screamed and lunged. I grabbed my blade and dodged to the side. Sulianyi, you think you're the only one who knows the merman's secret? He froze, then snapped. You're an outsider. What gives you the right? I'm the true descendant, only I can forge the blood pearl. I'm going back where I belong. My heart sank. He's a traveler too. Things just got a whole lot more complicated. I never thought I'd go up against another traveler. Sulianyi raised his blade and kept closing in. Hand over Gu Yanchen's or I'll kill you. I took a deep breath and kept my cool. You want the blood pearl? I want to go home. We can work together. He stopped, eyes narrowed. Work together? Why would I trust you? I pointed at the ritual array. Everything's already in place. You give the blood. I complete the ritual. We both get what we want. Sulianyi hesitated and then gave in. Fine. But if you try anything funny, you'll regret it. The ritual began. Moonlight fell across the array. The cinnabar symbols glowed a faint red. Sulianyi let his blood drip onto the array. The light grew brighter and brighter like it was coming alive. I started the chant, voice low and steady. Sulianyi's face went pale. He gritted his teeth. Hurry up, I can't hold on much longer. I picked up the pace. In the center of the array, a blood-red pearl slowly took shape, glowing with an eerie light. Right as the pearl formed, Gu Yanchen suddenly opened his eyes. Completely alert. Wan, what are you doing? I froze. How did the sleeping powder wear off? He shouldn't be awake this soon. Su Lianyi dove for the pearl. This is mine, nobody's taking it! I snapped back and stepped in front of him. Blade pointed straight at his throat. Don't move! Gu Yanchen stared at me stunned. Wan, have you lost your mind? Over a pearl, you'd let him die? I gritted my teeth and came clean. My lord, I'm not from this world! I need the blood pearl to go home. He went silent. The anger in his eyes turned into pure shock. I took a deep breath and laid it all out. The whole truth about how I got here, including the legend of the merman's heart. Su Lianyi laughed coldly from the side. She's not lying, I crossed over too. Gu Yanchen looked at us both. His expression was impossible to read. Su Lianyi was done waiting. He charged with the blade. You can both just die! At the last second, Gu Yanchen shoved me out of the way and took the hit himself. Blood soaked through his robe. I screamed and caught him. Tears came flooding out. Wan, I always knew you didn't belong here. Go home. I just stood there, the knife slipped from my hands. My heart felt like it was being ripped apart. Su Lianyi grabbed the blood pearl and bolted to the center of the array, laughing like a maniac. The red light exploded and swallowed him whole. Su Lianyi vanished without a trace. The blood pearl shattered to dust. Gu Yanchen slumped in my arms, his breathing getting fainter by the second. Wan, don't blame me. My lord, don't scare me, please hold on. This was the first time I ever felt like this world wasn't a cage. Gu Yanchen was carried back to the manor. The physician said the wound hit something vital, 3 days at most. I sat by his bed, gripping that blade I'd sharpened so many times. Jinger came to me, eyes red. My lady, please don't be so hard on yourself. The master did this to save you. I didn't say a word, just stared at his pale face. Thinking back over 7 years, he had once been my salvation. He gave me a home, but he also destroyed my hope with his own hands. Turned me into someone I barely recognized. My lord, like that day you told me to keep deceiving you. Wait, what did you mean by that? No answer, just shallow breaths, like they could stop at any moment. I suddenly thought of the lantern he bought at the Lantern Festival. It read, Forever Together. I had someone bring it in, lit it, and set it by his bedside. The flame flickered, like it was telling a story. The next day, Zhang Ruoshui came to see me. Her look said everything. You won. Su Lianyi is gone. Won? I lost more than he ever did. Zhang Ruoshui let out a sigh. The reason I helped you, I was hoping you'd take me home with you. But now, she didn't finish, just turned and walked away. There was a sadness in every step. I looked back at Gu Yanchen and took his hand. My lord, if there's a next life, I don't want to keep pretending. On the third morning, Gu Yanchen stopped breathing. It felt like my whole world went with him. People around the manor said I'd finally secured my place as the head wife. But I felt absolutely nothing. I had his belongings packed away. I kept only the lantern. A few months later, I let all the concubines in the back courtyard go. I only kept Zhang Ruoshui. She said she wanted to stay by my side until the end. We'd often sit together in Lingbo Garden, drinking tea and talking. Like two old friends. Zhang Ruoshui told me she ended up here because of a car accident. Woke up as a young lady in the minister's household. I want to go home too, but I can't find the way back. Maybe we're just meant to stay here and live out our days. One day I found an old wooden box. Inside it, a pearl and a letter. Wan, I know you don't belong here. This pearl is my guilt, everything I owed you, and my desperate wish for you to stay. I stared at that pearl. My vision blurred with tears. Something deep inside me finally broke open. I put the pearl back in the box and decided, no more chasing the merman's heart. No more thinking about going back. Maybe this world was never truly mine. But Gu Yanchen, in his own way, gave me somewhere to belong. I picked up a brush and wrote Zhang Ruoshui a letter. Asked her to meet me in the plum grove tomorrow. I figured, maybe I could learn to accept this world.